Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC, and it's finally here. The long-awaited Arrma Kraton 4x4 4S BLX, I guess 1/10 scale, truggy, 4S lipo capable, of course, 3S and 4S. They say it's 55 miles per hour. We shall see. But yeah, this truck has actually been out of stock for like the last 2 years. The last time you could buy a Kraton 4x4 4S was about 2 years ago. I actually sold my V1 Kraton around that time thinking they would release this. You know, they were kind of on this 1 year update cycle, and they didn't come out with one. Obviously, due to the pandemic and other reasons, supply chain issues, probably they, were concentrating on other production of other, already existing vehicles to make sure they could keep those in stock. So I'm guessing they put this on hold for a bit. They said this was going to be out last spring or last summer. It did not happen, and so everyone's wondering, where is this truck? And it's finally here. They finally updated the Kraton 4x4 and Outcast 4x4 4S, and yeah, we're going to take a look. So here it is. Let's see what they updated. Now this vehicle, got a little bit of trepidation talking about this, and I'll explain why, but let's look at what is new. So first off, adjustable body mounts, so you can raise and lower the body. They did add a wheelie bar, updated chassis, so both the Kraton and the Outcast are a little bit longer than before. This is about the same wheelbase as a Trax Max, I think about 350 millimeters. The Outcast is once again kind of in between a short wheelbase and long wheelbase chassis, kind of a medium wheelbase chassis. So that is different. New motor, the Spectrum 3668 2400 kV motor. I'm guessing this is just very similar to the BLX motor that they had before. That was an Arrma branded one, but now Arrma is owned by Horizon, so everything is branded Spectrum, just like all the other electronics. Aluminum shocks, a big update. So they were plastic before. I'm curious if they just have a traditional top cap style shock, or if they went with the bottom threading ones like they had before. And a new bumper, I guess, a little more durability, new diffs. So they do have actually steel pinion and ring gears. That is new. Internals were always steel as before, but yeah, that was kind of an area that could definitely wear out pretty quick. The pinion gear there, so nice to see they updated that. New shielded bearings. That is something I kind of called out on the original Kraton 4S. I did make a lot of videos about the original V1 Kraton 4S, and I was a little bit critical of them. I wouldn't say critical. I just kind of, point out what I consider to be the weaknesses. And to be quite honest, they actually implemented a lot of the changes I suggested, including shielded bearings. That is nice. I say the power module seals a little bit better. I'm not sure that's totally true. I know it does have a thicker motor mount, which is nice because that was a weakness on the V1. But yeah, I think this is kind of a change they had on the V3 3S line. There's the motor. New tires. So yes, before it had, I think they're called the Minakawa tires. Now they are the Copperhead 2 tires, so that should be an improvement. I didn't like the Minakawas a whole lot. New wings, so I guess a little bit redesigned. New ESC, yeah, 120 amp 4S capable ESC. They do have a Turbo Saver 23 tooth. Obviously, I would prefer 25 tooth because 23 tooth is just a Spectrum thing, but hopefully that has been improved. We shall see. New aluminum shocks. Yes, they already said that. So yeah, that's pretty much all the changes. Now the Kraton comes in two colors, teal and blue. I did pick up the teal version, as you can see there, teal. And yeah, let's take a look at what comes in the box now. All right, here it is in all of its glory. I gotta say the teal actually looks really nice in person. It's kind of got like this pearlless teal color, a little Miami Vice-ish if you're into that kind of 80s thing, like, a fan of Stranger Things or whatever. The 80s are back and in full bloom. So quick look, here is the radio, SLT3 radios made by Spectrum, of course. Excellent RTR radio, one of the best I think out there. 2.4 gigahertz, 4 AA's. Not a whole lot else to say about this. Just a solid functional radio. Feels decent in the hand. Foam wheel, nice trigger. Does have adjustments for steering trim, throttle trim, and steering dual rate, as well as endpoint adjustment. There's a special procedure you got to do in the manual to do that. And then you do have a throttle limiter, 50, 75, 100%. So, if you want to reduce the power real easily, you just flip that switch. the auto reversing and steering reversing, as well as the power button. Not a whole lot else to say about this radio, but I think this comes with the SR315 receiver, which is nice because I believe that is a dual protocol receiver, so hopefully it comes with that. They do make two different receivers that work with the SOT3. One is compatible with all the other Spectrum radios, which is the SR315, and one is not, which I think is called the SOT300. But yeah, here's the manual. Technical pack tells you how to work on the vehicle, including setting your mesh and stuff. Not a whole lot to say about that. This funky, weird looking tool does come with spring preload clips, so they are non-threaded. Adjustable shocks. The body feels very similar to the old one. I'm not sure if there's much of a difference, but it does actually feel like real Lexan and not PVC. I believe it is. But painted silver on the inside, a little bit of protection, tethered body clips, really nice. And the truck itself. So they did not revolutionize this vehicle. I was thinking they might have an all-new platform, an all-new vehicle. Well, I just found a little set screw here. I gotta figure out where that came from. A little bit scary, I'll be honest. Yeah. Finding loose set screws is a little crazy. But anyways, yeah, not a completely new design. Same standard sort of V3 4x4 3S layout. Nothing too game-changing here, but chassis brace up top. It does look like the center shaft is a little bit longer, so I don't know. It must be a new part, I imagine, because I don't believe the old one looked exactly like that. 2400 kV motor with fan and heatsink. That is nice. Spectrum 120 amp ESC, I believe. 150, can't remember exactly. Spectrum, probably an SR. Oh, you can't tell what Spectrum servo that is. Nice little on-off switch here, which is push button, not sliding switch. But yeah, vehicle overall looks pretty nice. Now some other updates not mentioned before. 17mm hexes, that is one area I called out on the old one. Nice to see that. They did redesign the arms, so they are thicker. I think the spacing is probably the same as before, but beefier arms. That was kind of another area I felt was weak on the V1. Aluminum shocks, again, another area I called out. I felt like, it was one of the areas I broke, the shock shaft, rod ends, that kind of thing. So nice to see full aluminum shocks. Bumper is fine. I didn't really have too many concerns about that. Tires are improved again. They work a lot better on actual dirt. The old ones, the Mid-Cow, is really more of a street or sort of combo tire, hybrid tire. Not really great in the dirt. This should function a lot better. This tread pattern looks way better. Longer chassis, another area I called out. I kind of mentioned they just reused the Sentin chassis on the old Kraton V1 4x4 4S, and I really felt like they needed to go with something different. Tons of room here on the actual chassis. You could put in a much longer can if you wanted to. All steel drivetrain, which is nice, including the input gears. The drive shafts are beefed up. They're kind of a hybrid of steel, as you can see there. Pivot, I don't know what you call them, CVAs or whatever, sliding drive shafts, which are still composite. But yeah, that is nice to see that has been reinforced a bit. It does have sway bars front and rear. I think that is the same as before. It does have a wheelie bar now. I don't think the old one had a wheelie bar. Thicker motor mount, again, another area I felt was a weakness on the V1, and nice to see that they improved that. So it did 6mm, I believe now. The old one was 5mm. Did have a tendency to bend, but this seems like it's going to hold up a bit better. Funny thing, interesting, the heatsink actually kind of wraps around the can and actually touches the chassis. So another area that part of the reason why that motor mount would bend is the old motor could actually move around a bit. That might help support it a little bit. I'm not totally sure. Same style sliding holder here on the side. Basically the motor mount slide there. Looks like some kind of funky, I don't know what this is. I guess some sort of holder for the battery that I don't know why you would flip it one way or the other, maybe to run a single pack, double pack, not totally sure. Double IC5 connector with a loop back plug, so that's nice to see. Again, another area that I kind of called out on the V1 that they have fixed. So a lot of people think when I make comments about a vehicle, what I consider to be weaknesses, that is to help the customer, the potential people out there spending their hard-earned money on these vehicles. And that is true. I did buy this myself, so this was not sent to me for free or anything. I just give my honest opinion. Not that I wouldn't otherwise, but yeah, a lot of people think, well, I'm just, being critical of the vehicle, and I am not. Actually, the reason I sort of make comments about a truck is not only to help potential customers just better understand the vehicle. I'm not trying to ward off sales or anything like that, but the other reason I do it is also because it's an honest way to give feedback to the manufacturer, in this case Arrma, and make improvements to areas that I consider to be weaknesses. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure they saw my V1 review video where, I point out the areas that I felt were weaknesses, because they've addressed almost all of them. There are a couple they still have not. I believe the motor mount is not completely sealed still. Maybe it's a little bit better than before. The center drive shaft, I still think is a weakness. You can get a rock stuck underneath and then actually chew up the center drive shaft when it's plastic. I would have preferred some sort of metal or aluminum one or some other design. They didn't really change that, but we'll see if that is an issue. They do have a reasonably decent sized battery tray. It's not huge, so I'm not sure if you can really adjust it that much. It looks like it's fairly fixed for a normal 4S sized battery. I do like this kind of full size holder up front. When you smash into things, the battery tends to smash into the front of the holder, obviously, and on the old one, you could actually kind of smash up the bottom half of the battery because it was not a full-size holder here in the front. So I did damage some batteries that way. I didn't mention that in previous videos, but that is an area that is nice to see they do that. I think Arrma is one of the few companies that actually does that. They do a really good job of protecting your battery with both the battery straps and kind of this holder in the front. Obviously, if you land here on the back, you got a little bit of support there, but maybe not completely, fully enclosed like other designs maybe, but it looks like it should work pretty well. So I believe the slipper has been redesigned a little bit to be a little bit more durable. That was an area, again, the slipper had a tendency to kind of loosen by itself. It does have a steel spur gear, that is nice. Steel, or I think, no, they're aluminum slipper pads, so I don't think that has changed. Any other changes? This looks a little bit different. I'm not sure what this sort of insert here is on the front. I don't recall that being there before, so that looks like a new designed actually element there. Looks like maybe a little bit more sealing here on the bottom to avoid rocks getting into the chassis. Again, another weakness of the V1. Rocks could get in there reasonably easily, kind of clog up your steering, and then, yeah, I don't know if that's been changed at all, but it looks a little different than what I recall. So yeah, that is the Arrma Kraton 4x4 4S BLX. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will do my best to kind of answer them, and obviously the next thing we're going to do is run this bad boy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.